Alright, so season 3 of The Boys was probably my second favorite season of the show. I thought it was pretty good, but the final fight, the thing that we waited the whole season for, was pretty terrible. And so I just wanted to go over it, what led up to it, and go over why I thought it was so dumb. So, yeah. Season 3, in short, is pretty much just the boys finding a weapon that can kill Homelander. That motherfucker has been on a tear since season 1, and the boys are just dialed in on ending him in this season. So they get a lead from Queen Maeve on a weapon that could do the trick, because this weapon apparently took out Soulja Boy. But when they get to the Russian facility, turns out there is no weapon that killed Soulja Boy. Soulja Boy was actually taken and experimented on. But Soulja Boy is on par with Homelander in terms of his strength and durability, and has the ability to emit massive blasts of radiation that vaporizes the compound V out of the soups, making them regular humans again. So Soulja Boy is pretty much just this cheat code, and as far as we know, he's the only thing that can take Homelander out. So Butcher strikes a deal with him. He'll help Soulja Boy take out all of the remaining members of Payback, and in return, Soulja Boy will help Butcher take out Homelander. So the entire season is the boys trying to find a weapon to kill Homelander, finding out that that weapon is Soulja Boy, and getting Soulja Boy to kill Homelander. That's pretty much the whole season wrapped up. So as you can tell, there's a lot riding on this fight. Now, let's jump to the final fight that we waited so patiently for. Soulja Boy, Queen Maeve, and Butcher roll up on Homelander at Vought Tower. Homelander tries to convince Soulja Boy to join him because he's technically the son of Soulja Boy, and it was actually looking like Soulja Boy might switch up for a second. Homelander even brought out Ryan and pulled the "we're a family" card, but Soulja Boy stayed solid as a rock. He put his hand on Homelander's shoulder and called him a whiny, weak, sniveling little pussy, and he also called him a disappointment.
You're a f***ing disappointment.
He then grabs Homelander's face, and Butcher and Maeve come in to help him, and this is it. Soulja Boy starts to charge up the blast. That sounds kinda bad. He's charging up the blast, and right before he can do it, Ryan lasers him, which sends him flying. But Soulja Boy gets up and absolutely whacks Ryan into a shelf. He then starts charging up the blast again, but before he can pack Homelander up, Butcher lasers him this time, and while Butcher lasers him, Homelander turns around and lasers him too.
You serious? Son of a...
3 seasons. We waited 3 seasons for this. Butcher was absolutely dead set on packing up Homelander once and for all, and he folds because of his wife's kid. Of course. Soulja Boy gets up and is like, "Yo, what the f*** are you doing?" Butcher then tells him to not hurt the kid because that's his wife's son.
Wait, Homelander f***ed your wife, and you want to save the brat?
Gotta be honest, I'm a Soulja Boy on that one. And by the looks of how he turned out in season 4, it probably would have been for the better. I'm just saying. We cut to Homelander, and Queen Maeve comes in and starts throwing hands, so they start to fight. And while that happens, Soulja Boy and Butcher start scrapping. Butcher lands a couple licks right here, and Soulja Boy comes back with a neck chop? He hits him with a neck chop. Butcher gets up, lands a few juicers, grabs Soulja Boy and lasers him in the face at close range, which by the way, that only leaves like a small cut on his face. Then Soulja Boy knocks him down with a punching leg sweep. Don't know if you noticed this, but the fight choreography for the show isn't exactly top tier. Makes me think back to the Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy where Batman would fight like 6 guys and he looked like he was fighting in slow motion because he was just so slow and sloppy. Like, look at this. He just leaned over and double punched Joker in the chest. And they want us to believe this guy mastered like every martial art that there is. Yeah, for sure. It looks like Batman hasn't trained a day in his life. The same can't be said for Ben Affleck's Batman. Anyways, Soulja Boy picks Butcher up and slams him into a table. He grabs his shield, and right before he bashes Butcher's face in, Starlight comes in and stops him. Oh, and MM is here too. Mainly for moral support because that gun's not gonna do shit. I don't know why they even bother shooting soups with guns. It's probably about as effective as throwing a marshmallow at the rock. While all of this happens, Huey gets on the intercom and tells the people in the tower to evacuate, and Frenchie cooks up another gas to knock Soulja Boy out. We cut back to the fight. Maeve and Homelander are still going at it, and Soulja Boy absolutely wrecks Starlight. Butcher's able to laser Soulja Boy's shield and break it, but all that really does is just piss Soulja Boy off even more. He grabs Butcher and lands a good 3 or 4 licks to his lips before throwing him away and into the wall. Kamiko comes in and sees what's happening, so she runs at Soulja Boy and gets grabbed by the throat. She then gets thrown and launched into next week. Not to gargle it, but Soulja Boy is low-key holding it down solo dolo against 3 soups. Huey taps into the camera and sees the team getting absolutely murked. Starlight is finally back up though, so Huey turns the power all the way up to get Starlight juiced up, and she's maxed out. She's reaching fucking full power. She floats up off of the ground, and some dramatic, heroic music starts playing in the background, and it really makes you think, holy smokes, Starlight is about to pack up one of the strongest soups in the show. This is epic. Soulja Boy starts running at her full speed and jumps, but right before he reaches her, Starlight blasts him at full power, and it does absolutely nothing. All it does is knock him down.
I mean, did it knock me down? Yeah. I wasn't knocked out.
Let's remember, folks, this whole season was about getting a weapon to kill Homelander because, if you don't remember, Homelander is an absolutely sadistic, murdering, crazy baby who needs to be stopped at all cost. And yet, everyone has turned their attention to Soulja Boy, even though he's really not done anything. He's not going around murking people for no reason like Homelander does. He did vaporize a couple of buildings, which resulted in multiple people dying, but unlike Homelander, who does vile shit on purpose, Soulja Boy just kind of blows up on accident because of his PTSD. He even admitted to Huey that he didn't mean to hurt those people.
I didn't mean to hurt those people. I'm not a bad guy.
To be honest, from what it seems, if he's not on a mission, he'd probably just be at home chilling, so why everyone just decided to go after him over Homelander is wild. Also, they didn't need Soulja Boy's radiation blast to stop Homelander. Queen Maeve was working him, and earlier in the season, Butcher, Soulja Boy, and Huey were able to beat him up, so instead of trying to use the blast, why don't they all just work together, gang up, and jump him? They could very easily beat him. Anyways, Starlight, Kimiko, and MM are able to somehow restrain Soulja Boy, even though MM is nothing to him and Starlight and Kimiko are significantly weaker. His legs are also free, so he could probably just super jump out of the building or headbutt MM, which would obliterate him, and then he could fight off the two girls, but whatever. Maybe he wanted to be grabbed and restrained by Starlight and Kimiko. I'm gonna be honest, I don't blame him. Soulja Boy finally realizes he has an overpowered radiation blast, so he starts to charge that bad boy up. Butcher runs over to cover Ryan. Maeve sticks a rod in Homelander's ear, which messes him up momentarily, and she gets up and notices the pickle they're in. And then there's a long, dramatic shot of her thinking what to do, and it has never taken this long for Soulja Boy to let it rip. It usually took like 5 or 6 seconds, while this is taking like a minute, but I'm kind of just nitpicking right now. Right before Soulja Boy can finish the job, Queen Maeve tackles him through the glass and presumably gets packed up. Spoiler, she somehow survived. Back in the tower, everyone is happy, hugs all around. They did it. They stopped Soulja Boy. But all that happiness disappears when they realize Homelander, the villain who's significantly worse than Soulja Boy and who they've been trying to stop since season 1, is still alive. But it. Butcher still has his powers from Temp V, Starlight's good to go, and Kimiko's there too. They can still finish the job right there, but nope. Ryan looks at Homelander and he's like, "Dad, I want to leave." And so Homelander takes his hand and they leave. That's it. Everything from the first episode of The Boys tells us that supes are bad, and the worst of them is easily Homelander. This was their chance. This whole season was about finding a way to send Homelander to the Shadow Realm, and when they finally get the chance to do so, they get cold feet. Now, I'm not saying Soulja Boy is an angel, he's no hero. The show tells us he's a bad guy multiple times by bringing up what he's done and what he did to MM's family, but Homelander's worse by like a mile. And while watching season 4, I always think back to this fight because all the up stuff that happened in season 4 and the worst stuff that's going to happen in season 5 could have easily been avoided if they stuck to the original plan. Or maybe I'm just violently meat writing Soulja Boy. I don't know. Possibly. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below, and also let me know what videos you guys want to see next. I think I'm going to do a video on something good about The Boys show at some point. I do love the show, and they do a lot of great things, especially in season 1, so I'll probably do a video on that soon, but that's all I've got for you guys today, so I'll see you in the next one.